Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome to our Coffee Times. Today I bring you the perfect tag for the Christmas season. It is a wonderful tag, original, just new. So this amazing new tag was created by the beautiful Kayla over at Crack Into a Good Book. So I'm gonna leave her announcement video down below of her original tag. I'm also gonna leave the questions and everything that you need in case that you want to do this tag yourself as well.
It's coffee time.
So this tag, it is focused on Christmas movies that she herself has watched a lot throughout the years with her family and inspired this tag, which I think is wonderful and perfect for the season. The book tag is called Fave, Festive, Family, Film Book Tag. It is a long name, but it is fitting and very descriptive of what this tag is about. So before we jump into the questions, there are a total of 10 I think, and 2 bonus questions at the end that we're also going to talk about. If you love horror, if you love books, please consider subscribing to the channel and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more coffee times. Let's go. So question number 1, it's based on the movie Elf, which it's a great movie that nearly did not get made. And this one, it says, what is a book that makes you smile? So I was kind of trying to think of a horror book that made me smile, which is, you know, not always the case to find horror combined with humor, especially humor that works for me. But I just started rereading Nosferatu by Joe Hill, and the humor in this book is exactly my type of humor, and I find myself smiling a lot throughout the book. So I wanted to mention it here also because it is the perfect book for Christmas. It is based on a guy that takes kids in his Rolls Royce to this promised land of Christmas land where the kids are supposed to be super happy forever and ever. And we follow one of the girls that has encountered this man, and it's just fantastic, the mix of horror and humor. The next one is The Muppet Christmas Carol. What's one of your favorite adaptations or retellings of a story? So for this I have chosen Alice by Christina Henry. This is the first book in the trilogy, and when I read this I think my body was not ready for the amount of creepiness and ugliness this book was gonna give me. It is a very different interpretation of the story. We have a very decadent world, basically buildings are crumbling down, and we find Alice in a hospital with like long blonde hair. She doesn't recall what happened to her, but one night she gets the chance to escape this hospital through a hole. And I mean, this adventure is literal madness, and this is a great kind of horror take on Alice in Wonderland story. So if you're looking for something like that, this is perfect, and it's also fairly short. Plus, if you love it, there is 2 more books. Next we have The Grinch. Who is one of your favorite book villains? And I think this is a favorite for a lot of people that enjoy Stephen King's books, and that is Randall Flagg from The Stand. He is this wicked sorcerer with supernatural powers that has actually appeared in more than one of Stephen King's stories. And in The Stand, I mean, I absolutely love this book, and I also love the movie, even though it was a bit cheesy. But it is all about this apocalyptic / post-apocalyptic scenario, and I really like this guy. It's kind of like a love-hate relationship because, you know, he's bad, but you also kind of like it, and I like his style. So yeah, he's one of my favorite villains ever. Next we have Spongebob Christmas Special. What was one of the first books you read in one of your favorite genres? And you know, one of my favorite genres is obviously horror. And when I try to think of the first horror books that I ever read, it's a tie between Pet Sematary, which I think was the first horror book that I read, which it's more a drama kind of story, but anyways, either that or Needful Things by Stephen King. Those are my first Stephen King books that I can remember ever reading. I was very young, and yeah, I got them I think as a present from my aunt and uncle, and they started giving me Stephen King books for birthdays and Christmas because they knew I loved it so much. So yeah, I think those were kind of like my first. Next we have a classic, A Christmas Story, and that is Name a Book You Love that has won an award. So for this, I wanted to pick something else than Stephen King because obviously he has won some Bram Stoker awards, but another book that won the Bram Stoker Award in 2018 and that I really loved was The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. This is a very interesting book in which a gay couple is going to spend some family time with their daughter to this cabin, kind of isolated, and then somebody comes knocking at their door. So this was a very unexpected kind of book that is going to keep you like really at the edge of your seat, and you're gonna be in so much tension. And I really love the story. It is pretty like harsh at times, but I absolutely love the character development as well in this book. And also if you're looking for some books that have LGBT representation, this might be one that you would like to read. Next we have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. What's a book you were excited to read turned out to be a disappointment? For this one, I'm going to choose The Chain by Adrian Mckinty. So this book, I actually bought a signed copy of this book that I found at Waterstones when I was in London, and I was so excited about this book because it just sounded like the perfect thriller in which kids are being kidnapped, and when they kidnap your kid, they leave you basically messages telling you that you have to kidnap another kid in order to get yours back, this starting a chain, hence the name of the book. And I was like, yes, this is gonna be amazing, I'm gonna love it. But I ended up being fairly disappointed in the book. The problem was that, you know, the book started being really interesting, and then it started to lose kind of that interest that I had, and you could see all the twists coming like from a mile away, and that kind of took away the fun of the book, like of the reading experience. I say if you really want to check it out because you're interested in the plot of the book, you can do so, but don't expect like an amazing thriller with an amazing twist. Bad Santa. Name a character who's optimistic or wants to help others. For this one I have chosen a classic because I thought, you know, let's spice it up. We're talking about a lot of thrillers, we're talking about a lot of horror, and that character that is always optimistic and helping others, and one of my favorite children's books, Anne of Green Gables. I am so in love with her. Like, she's so wonderful, and she's an orphan that has had a horrible life at the orphanage, and she's being adopted by this family that were expecting a boy, and then they get her, and she's so lovely. Like, she's gonna win your heart, okay? Like, I absolutely love her as a character, and she's never negative. She's always kind of like trying to make the best out of things, trying to help, trying to look at the positive things even when some things go wrong or where she feels a little bit lost. And I feel like she is an amazing character. So yeah, I just wanted to mention her because I really love her. Next we have The Santa Claus. What is something from a book that you wish were real? For this I was kind of wondering because there's a couple of books that have really interesting kind of post-apocalyptic or dystopian kind of stories, and I was like, I mean, they would be cool, like for example to have something similar to Scythe by Neil Shusterman, or something like They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, which also has a super interesting concept in which basically somebody's gonna call you and tell you that you're gonna die in the next 24 hours. But those concepts that are also scary. However, there was a book that I read in January this year called The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, and I kind of was thinking I would love to live in a world in which I could open doors to other places, that we could travel just through doors teleportation kind of style. I absolutely love that book and the concept. It is a very slow burn book, but it was just so magically written, and you know, it kind of gives you as an adult still that kind of feeling of finding new worlds, opening doors to move around in the map instead of you know, having to travel by the normal means. And yeah, I think that would be amazing if we could just open a door and be like, I want to be in Spain, and then you open the door and you're in Spain, you know. That would be amazing. The Nightmare Before Christmas. What's a book that's perfect to read in winter? And for this, I decided to spice things up again. I'm gonna mention a graphic novel that I think it's perfect for winter, and that is one of my favorite horror ones, and that is 30 Days of Night by Steve Niles and Ben Templesmith. So 30 Days of Night takes place in a town, super isolated, freezing cold, and what the title says, it's what happens. It's a town, it's a place where once a year they have 30 days of night. There is no light. And during those 30 days of night, there is a couple of super cute vampires that come out to feed. And I absolutely love the design of the graphic novel, how it looks with all the blood splatter, how that intensifies. I just love it. Plus the movie is amazing as well. It's very underrated, so if you want to check that out this winter, it's also perfect for the season. Then we have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What's one of your favorite creatures from a book? And for these, I chose two books that have a similar concept, that are both post-apocalyptic, and that I found the creatures to be really interesting. One is Bird Box by Josh Mullerman, in which, as you probably know, there is a day in which everything goes to hell in the world, and there is some creatures that appear, and if you look at them, then you are gonna be driven into madness and probably end up dead. And so people have to cover their eyes and kind of navigate their way through the post-apocalyptic period. And I really enjoyed it. You can avoid the movie on that one. Then we have The Silence by Tim Lebbon, and I picked this one because again we have a post-apocalyptic world in which there are some creatures, but in this case the creatures themselves are blind, but they have super good hearing, and one of the main characters is a mute person, and I absolutely love that representation in the book. The movie is also pretty nice. I liked it. I think there's a lot of people that didn't enjoy it, but it is also again about this group of survivors trying to make no noise at all. So yeah, these two I think would be really great reads when it comes to creatures. There's also two bonus questions, so let's just do them. The first one is, what is your favorite Christmas holiday movie? And for me, it's always gonna be Nightmare Before Christmas, because I've been watching this movie since I can even remember being able to understand movies. I love it. I also rewatch it for Halloween, so you know, it's like I can watch it twice a year and it's perfectly fine because it fits both. And I never get tired of it, let's be honest. And the other one is kind of like a tradition that I started with my boyfriend. I think it was the first Christmas together. We decided to watch Jingle All the Way with our beloved Arnold Schwarzenegger, and since then it was like so funny because it was so bad and we didn't remember the movie being so bad, that now it's tradition that we watch it every single year for Christmas. So that's another one that is now part of my tradition. I watch it every year. It's still hilarious and ridiculous, but it's to be honest, it's a lot of fun. And the other question is, you know, what's a book that you like to read during the Christmas season? And honestly, the one that I'm rereading right now, which is Nosferatu by Joe Hill, because it's just perfect for Christmas, because it takes place on a Christmas land, and you know, about this guy that wants to take kids to Christmas land to give them a better life. And I just love it because it's fun, it's entertaining, and I love the story, I love the characters. It is chunky, it's 700 pages, so you know. But there's also a graphic novel, and the reason why I'm rereading it also right now is because I still have not checked the Amazon Prime show, so I'm rereading it now so I can binge the show, because I just want to have the book fresher in my head before I jump into the show. And yeah, that's basically one that I would really recommend you to check out during the Christmas season. So these were my answers to the questions from the Fave Festive Family Films book tag, created again by the lovely Kayla over at Crack Into a Good Book. Like I said, I'm gonna leave her channel down below, so do not only check the tag and do it, but also subscribe to her because she reads a lot, so she's gonna be able to give you a lot of insight in a lot of books. She also reads a lot of different genres, so it's perfect for everybody. And also I'm gonna leave below the questions as well in case that you want to do it. Honestly, anybody that sees this video is, you know, tagged, consider yourself tagged if you have a channel, if you feel like doing it. I just think it's a lot of fun and it's something really cool to do now around the Christmas season, so you know, make sure to do it. If you do it, leave the link to your video down below so I can check it out as well. And let me know also in the comments, what is your Christmas movie that either is really nostalgic to you because you used to watch it, I don't know, with your parents, or one that it's like a new favorite that you have to rewatch every year. Let's talk about Christmas movies down below in the comments. Alright you guys, thanks so much for watching. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support. If you want to follow me, you know, the social media, the links as always are down below, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye.